I know it's early, but good morning, y'all. We definitely have not been live on this channel in a hot minute. It's me, your boy, King Hammer, at all times. Always being the ace up your sleeve. I definitely wanted to come in and talk about this Clipse album. This Clipse album, highly anticipated for about 3 years now? Since 2000, I think their last album was 2009. Man, it's nostalgic, no pun intended, to hear that they're just making music again. Panda, what's up? So, my biggest thing is that they're making music and they're putting their feet down when it comes down to letting other rappers that don't rap, which is Push's words that he said. He said, I don't like rappers that don't rap. For the last, I want to say, 10, almost 15 years, we haven't had rappers that actually give good sustenance. Panda, let me know if my audio needs tweaking, because I'm testing this out. When it comes down to it, a lot of the music that has come out in the last 10 to 15 years, it's just been all about the same thing when it comes down to hip hop. It's always been, how many cars, how many girls, how much money and drugs you do, which takes a big impact on the community, the culture, the kids. There's kids out there listening to it and they're smoking K2 or they're, popping mollies and all these Zans and all that, like how Lil Pump and all these other, pull of the mill rappers, just came and went. They were all phases. They were all like fads, if you will. And I ain't like it. I ain't like it one bit. Why am I sitting here promoting these kids to go do drugs and to go chase a bag and hit licks and all that? That's not what I want my son or his friends or any of our kids or any of the youth to be promoting. No, we need to expand our minds. We need to lengthen our attention spans. In the last 20 years, the human attention span has lessened, I think, a good couple points of a second, which is what I heard from somewhere. I'm not a credible source type of guy. All I know is that I've heard it, and I can definitely see that happening. We're so quick to, scroll to the next thing and to the next thing and to the next thing at all times. So personally, I don't see that. I don't see anything countering the fact that, or if it's a fact, the allegation that we as human beings in the last 20 years have lost a couple increments of time to our attention span. With this music that's being put out now, it's, thanks to the whole Kendrick and Drake beef, we are now more focused on the substance of the music. What are you bringing to the table? What do you have to say? Because, I've always been that one. I've always been one of the guys that actually sits there and dissects the lyrics and tries to make the connection. I'm the, drawing red wires all over a map type of guy when it comes down to, figuring out the message in the bottle that they put in these songs. And personally, a couple of my friends and I, we would have listening parties sitting there waiting on an album to come out, and we'll get our our drinks and our smokes and do whatever we got to do in order to enjoy and vibe to the music, but also break down the message that's in there instead of just listening oh, okay, well, looks like he's popped him out, he's sweating now, oh, impressive. No, we don't need that kind of music no more. It's generated such horrible behavior. Now with Clipse, they have a lot of bars about dealing with baby powder, is what I'll say. Baby powder. And yeah, underneath of that though, they're explaining a deeper message of a lifestyle that they were accustomed to and why they had to, instead of just doing it just to do it. So, you know, it's nostalgic to hear the fact that they're back. And, you know, I haven't deep dived into all of their songs. You know, the album just came out a couple hours ago. I've been jumping in live streams of popular YouTube content creators such as Jay Black, The Company Man, Curtis King. I'm part of a group. There's this one page that I'm part of. It's called HHSB Crew. I'm one of the moderators for his channel, and I sat there while we were just waiting. We counted down the minutes just for when the album actually dropped. And let me tell you, good community. Everybody's, you know, real chill. Like there was about 1,500 people before he ended the stream. So of course, dope. You know, I want to be able to be one of those content creators and streamers that help bring the message of hip hop back. But I'm on here because the lady's quiet, the baby's asleep, Broly over here chilling. We good. I want to be able to do this, you know, eventually full time. But, you know, a dream is a dream. All you got to do is chase it. So here's my start. I wanted to do it on this page because, you know, Hip Hop Underground. I've had this page for years. I think 2018 we have 1,700 people in here, and 1,700 is a good number. But, you know, I want to be able to at least, you know, speak with individuals, like-minded individuals who, you know, want the music to have substance again, because the last couple of years, like I said, it's been tasteless. It's been the same thing, rinse and repeat. It's been the same lyrics on different beats. And all the beats are, you know, they're cool. We've had some, you know, people that came and went or are still here but are being considered or were considered corny. Like, for instance, look how fast everybody was able to push out Joyner Lucas, Logic. Those people didn't deserve that. Logic and Joyner and a couple other people, they, like DaBaby, like DaBaby, he actually can spit. He actually can spit. I saw that freestyle he did not too long ago. I was like, damn. It's nuts that you were just holding all this back, but you weren't really talking about anything. Like your bars are good, but they lack any weight behind them. It lacks substance. It lacks, you know, I would say you're not differentiating yourself enough. Like, let's say people like NBA Youngboy, Lil Durk, and Lil Baby and all them, they're making the same track. They're always talking about sliding on their ops, or, you know, taking X amount of drugs, or, you know, it's not healthy. It's not a healthy mindset. You know, like, I understand if you're gonna hear that in the club, and, you know, you can vibe to that, that's fine. You in the club, there's a bunch of adults and everything, but like, on the radio, no, let's put something a little bit more child friendly, because it's not about us no more. I represent kids from 93 and all the way up to, I want to say, at most 2000. You know, we're not kids no more. We've been through, you know, Wu-Tang, NWA. We've been through Nas, Jay-Z. We've been through Nelly, Ludacris. We went through T.I., Lil Wayne. We went through a plethora of different artists that actually had something to say. And when it comes down to it, hearing the Clipse, they've been around for about 20 years, over 20. I want to say since 99, 98. Come on now, this is just It's immaculate. It's elite. Elites are only on this album. Tyler's on here. Kendrick's of course on here. Nas is on here. Jay is supposed to have a verse on here. Only the elite level lyricists are going to be on this album. I'm gonna enjoy it. I know I'm about to go play it right now. But what I don't want is for hip hop to regress because that's what it's used to. You know? With the whole Kendrick and Drake beef, I stopped rocking with Drake back in 2018. Ever since I found out that he was being a deadbeat, I wasn't even a father yet. And I was like, nah, I can't rock with dude. Because if I can't rock with your character, why am I going to rock with your music? Why am I going to support you if you're a trash individual? Sorry. You shot up the club in a popcorn maker and decided, oh, we gonna hide this baby because I'm ashamed of you. No, sir. Take responsibility. Wear that proudly. You have to. It's the mother of your children. Do what you're supposed to do. Do what your father didn't, apparently. You know, I can't really rock with that kind of personality. And once the beef kicked off, I already knew Kendrick was going to wash him. I knew Kendrick was going to wash him. Kendrick, if you listened to Kendrick, you know, coming up all the way from, you know, Section 80, like I didn't listen to his stuff, you know, prior to Section 80. I know he's had 2 mixtapes before that. But prior to Section 80, Section 80 was the first project that I heard from him, and I was like, yo, this dude got it. This dude got it. I heard Good Kid, Mad City, dope, good. This is a great body of work, and it's still on, I believe, the Billboard Hot 200s list for albums, and it's been the longest charting hip hop album on that specific chart, if I'm not mistaken. And then I was just personally blown away. I had to move Kendrick into my top 5 after I heard To Pimp a Butterfly. That is one of the most beautifully crafted albums to me of all time. To me, it was like hearing Illmatic for the first time. It was like hearing Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers for the first time. It was like, it was an anomaly. I haven't heard an album do that in so long. And it was amazing. So, personally, my favorite track off of To Pimp a Butterfly is How Much a Dollar Costs. The amount of perspective and, you know, introspective that it took for him to realize that all this ego and all this humility could be judged by a dollar, by an unsuspecting stranger. Amazing. That song definitely reminds me to remain humble throughout any moment of my life, knowing that it could be a moment where it decides everything from that moment on. So you hold on to it. What else? Kendrick's been a problem. That's the point that I'm making. Kendrick has been a problem. And I've known that since I heard, of course, Control. Control is what set this whole thing in motion 12 years ago. He told everybody, listen, I like y'all, but y'all ain't messing with me. And I dare y'all to prove me wrong. A couple people stepped up. Joel Ortiz, Meek Mill. They ain't stand a chance. Kendrick didn't even have to respond. He literally just told them, you better try harder. And you know, after that moment, Drake was taking shots at him, you know, sneak dissing on certain tracks and everything like that. And so was Kendrick. He was just saying like, hey, bro, just say my name. Just say my name. Go ahead. I dare you to say my name. And Drake never did until Drake decided to have a song called First Person Shooter with good old Cole World. And trust me, I love J. Cole. I always tease my wife about it. I love J. Cole. The problem is that he shouldn't have apologized, but I get why he did. I get it. Personally, in rap or hip hop, you do not talk tough. You do not talk tough and tell everybody, yo, I'm with the smoke, I'm the greatest, what y'all gonna do about it? And then somebody says, what's up? And you say, you know what? Your shoes is ugly, but they still fresh. Please leave. Don't come back here. You said you wanted smoke. And the only smoke I saw was coming from your feet going the opposite direction. No. Drake, I commend him for trying, but dog, not with all those skeletons that are already outside of your closet. Come on now. Pusha already got you up out of here. And yeah, you got a dub on Meek, but that was because you pestered it. You dragged it on. Just like how Kendrick is doing right now. That's why I do not feel bad for when it comes down to these arguments or these Drake stands trying to plead his case. So, it is what it is. When it comes down to elite level lyricism, Drake could not ever be in that category because, yeah, he has hard lines, he has good delivery, but when it comes down to the subject matter and growth, you know, like I said, we've been listening to them for the past 15, 20 years. Drake makes the same song on different beats, just like everybody else. He was the leader of that genre or that little stint that we had of hip hop from 2015 until 2024. I could not stand listening to, I even took a break personally from listening to newer up and coming rappers. Like, it took me until after he passed to give XXX a chance, and I feel bad about that. But if you remember the state of hip hop, how it was not in a good space. We were going in a drought. There was no awards being won. There was nothing to talk about. There was nothing to talk about. Like, oh yeah, this person's nice, but you know, there ain't no, you know, they're not Drake or Kendrick or Cole. Like, Kid Cudi was definitely an anomaly though. He was there, but you know, his mind got the better of him, and you know, still I'm always gonna be a OG Cudi fan, but this new Cudi, just stop it, bro. But I implore you all to go ahead and listen to the Clipse album. I'm about to deep dive in it myself. You know, appreciate y'all for at least watching or showing up. If you're watching this on the playback, just let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if there's anything that I need to work on in regards to, you know, making this a little bit more lively. I know this ain't the flashiest, and you know, I'm a little all over the place, but you know, just give me a heads up, y'all. I definitely miss being able to go live on this page. Expect me to do this more. Give me a shout. Let me know. I will be posting my YouTube link and other social media platforms at the bottom of this video. So give me a shout. Let me know what's going on. Keep it cool. Keep an ace up your sleeve, y'all.